Today I'm going to be doing the video review of the Alien vs Predator Alien Warrior, and I just really lucked out again at my local comic book shop because they just had a lot of these older 1/6 scale figures that just never seem to get sold. It's still selling at at least maybe a little above retail. I got this one for $1.99 in store, so I just thought that was a really good deal because on eBay I was seeing this guy go for $500. So I really am happy that I finally got to get an Alien in my collection. So what we're looking at right now is the box, and we're going to start with that before looking at the actual figure. It's your basic Movie Maniac style box and really Hot Toys style box. We have the slip case, and on the outside we have kind of a reflective Alien Predator, and then a picture of the figure, and then it says Alien Warrior at the bottom. It's got their two symbols. It looks really nice. Now on the side it just has a picture of the alien with his little mini mouth hanging out, and then it says Alien Warrior. On the back it says Alien Warrior again. It's got him in a bunch of poses, and it shows his special features, which, if you can see, it shows an egg that is actually not included with the figure. That's kind of weak. So that's the box. And then right on this side, actually, look at that. It's a really good first impression of him. It shows that egg again that it doesn't come with. So let's get this slipcase off. Once the case is off, we can see that there's a really nice picture of the figure, once again showing the smaller mouth coming out, and really a cool feature that comes with the figure. It really wants to show that off. Now at the bottom we can see some Predator artwork, and it looks really nice, and it says Alien Warrior AVP in the middle. On the sides it just says Alien vs Predator. We have a picture of the alien and the predators from the movie. And then on the back we see his actual series. And keep in mind, these aren't the 2.0s, these were the first versions. So the Scar Predator, Celtic Predator, Chopper Predator, Elder Predator, and the Alien Warrior, including the brown exclusive version of the alien and the Grid Alien, which are both not shown here. Now on the bottom we see how he was built, considering these are called models, because at the time Hot Toys didn't have the license to call these toys yet. So that's really great stuff, and he really does come together nicely. Now when we go to the front of the box, we can see how it opens. The box is open like this, and then we can see that is where the actual alien was housed. There's his tail, his head, and there's the little tubes on his back. Over here we have a really nice picture of the figure, and I think it really well represents what you're getting inside. I was impressed to see how big the box was, because once you get it out of there, there's really not that many accessories inside, but we'll get to that later. So, now that we're done looking at this box, let's look at a great figure. Now that we have him out of the packaging, fully assembled, we can really get a good idea of how great of a figure we're looking at. This alien is just spot on in every way, and I'm a pretty big Alien fan, but I never realized how much I liked the AVP design. Really, I think this speaks more to the aliens than even the ones in the movie Aliens. And the reason I think that is it kind of calls more to the original Alien movie with the smooth head and really like the skinny look, still more humanoid and less insect-like. I really do like it, and the way the tail looks. I even like the hands more than the original with the 6 fingers. So I really do like this figure. And his feet just look a little meaner than those actual feet that the big chap has. I'm just not really feeling his look as much. At least I really might like the AVP most. And I know that's blasphemy, but I really do think they did a great job continuing that biomechanical look that the aliens are going for. So looking at his head, we can see that he's got kind of a brown dome, and that's really, really cool looking because it's kind of smoky, which would be a good word to describe it, or misty. And you can see just inside like a faint skull underneath. And no, you can't really see the eye sockets or anything like you can on some of the, like the big chap, but it still looks good. Now, a big thing that needs to be mentioned is most of his body is rubber, and I happen to like that a lot. I know a lot of people think rubber equals rot, and it might, but it also means if you take care of it, it may not. And I have heard issues with the paint chipping. I have yet to see these issues, but really, it feels like you would think the creature would, and it gives it more of a wet feeling. Like, you know how the aliens are always dripping? Well, this really calls to it. So all this is rubber. You can kind of see some flex there and everything. So now that I've moved his mouth, I think it's time to show his cool feature. Watch the shadow too. Isn't that great? It locks out. Only issues I'm having is it does seem to go a little too far down. And also, we have two positions that it can lock in. Either all the way out or all the way in. No half in the middle for us. I think that's a little weak, but still pretty cool. Nice snap action there. Now, when we move further down to his neck really looks good because you're not seeing any joints in there. If you can see that, here, I'll try to get him in the light. You can really see that there's no joints. It's just solid rubber. The joints are all underneath. So that looks great, and we get a lot of movement with his head. Look at that. And back and forth it can do too. Having a hard time doing it with one hand though. So that's really great. These little like shoulder pieces, the bones are really rubbery and they feel cool on your hands. And then his arms and legs are all plastic, and you had to pop one arm on and one leg on, and they just pop right on and you're good. Too easy, really, just like swapping hands with a figure. I wasn't nervous putting it in. It felt sturdy, and he feels sturdy now. So his arms are solid plastic, and if you look inside the joint, this is rubber covering the ball joints. So we actually don't see any joints on the entire figure. And to me, that is perfect. That makes this a Movie Maniacs movie quality figure. If we don't see joints, then it's perfect. And I really had the same attitude towards my new Alien Kane figure because they both have the same kind of feeling that this is a figure meant to represent a real thing. Like from a distance, certain angles, this thing could look real, and that's how I want $200 worth of an Alien toy to look. Now his arms are all plastic, but it still looks the same material. It doesn't look like a sweater vest or something like this is a vest and then these arms are sticking out. It all looks the same tone, and I really like that because it would look really bad if it was a different tone. Now his hands are different because his hands are rubber with wires in them, so we can bend them around and stuff. And I like that, but I would have liked the option to have the fixed hands as well. Still looks good though. And the arms are both the same. Moving down, his legs are all hard plastic. This is all hard plastic in here. This isn't rubber like up there. And then back here we have a wire kind of thing going to his leg, and that pops out. And you can also pop it back in depending on what you want to do with it. It looks really nice in though. And then his feet are all rubber, but they seem to be able to support him very well because just how big the figure is, or how big those feet are, it really helps. And this tail doesn't hurt him either if you're using that. But I will mention that the tail is not necessary to help him stand. He can stand without it because he's weighed so well. Speaking of his weight, this figure has some heft to him. Really the heaviest of my figures yet, and I do have the new Deluxe Darth Vader, and he was much lighter than him. I think it's because he's so solid, and I really like that about him. Flipping him around, we can see these tubes in his back, which each had to be popped in, and they're kind of, I guess you could say they can kind of move, but there's no really reason to be moving them. Then further down, we have his like kind of rubber spike startup, and this is all rubber, and it goes, these are hard plastic, and this is rubber. And you can see it kind of flexing in there and everything, his ribs moving. And so is his tail. The cool thing about the tail is if you've seen any other aliens, really any alien figure made by most companies makes this wire tail. And the difference between this one and your McFarlane's and your NECA's is this has a really hard metal wire in it. In other words, he could probably, I have displayed him holding himself up using the tail only. That's how stiff this thing is. If you watch it like, and this thing can really, here, let me set him down and can really do anything you want it to. Bend all the way like that. Really, as long as you can think of it, he can do it, like with this tail. And his tail really, to me, sells the figure. You look at that detail on there and everything, like, let me unbend that, looks stupid. It looks like the spear at the end of the movie when it's made out of it, which is great. This is really a great alien, so if this is going to be your first alien, I have nothing against him. He's really great. And I didn't like Alien vs. Predator. I'm just going to maneuver him a little bit so we can get him in a standing position. Can you stand? Okay, there we go. He's using his tail a lot there. That's touching all the way over there. I really didn't like the movie, but the aliens still look good, and so did the Predators. So soon enough, I'll have a Predator for in the battle. Celtic most likely. He's my favorite. He just looks great. Now here's something that's kind of an issue: is the lack of accessories. No accessories with this figure. I know it shows an egg in the pictures, but there's none. So that's going to mark off. Now here's something that I really want to show you guys, and this is going to be a size comparison. As you can see, the alien is at perfect scale with my Kane figure, and what's even greater is that's with his helmet on. So you can take about an inch off of Kane, and they're still just about right. So that's perfect. Look how great he looks. He looks huge, and it looks perfect together. Really, really good for display options. And just look how real that guy looks. They really do look great together. Only one more thing worth mentioning, and this is my last gripe. Why couldn't we have something like this stand with this figure? This came with Kane, and here we have the open egg. Why couldn't we have a closed egg and some kind of stand to go with him? Now the new Celtic Predators, and I know this wasn't a newer figure at the time, and really none of them had a stand, but they did have the little nameplate kind, where it would say Scar Predator and then a black little, a little stand. I understand that he doesn't need it without his tail, but that doesn't mean we don't want it. Now if they remade them, I really would be disappointed if they didn't add something like this, or the grid alien should have a dead Celtic Predator's head or something, to go with him. But other than that, I'm going to call this a review. I give this figure, get ready, a 9 out of 10. If he had come with any accessories and a stand, he'd be sitting in a nice 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.